This is a list of tables that show the order of the oldest people in the world. To avoid including false or unconfirmed claims of old age, the names here are limited to those whose ages have been verified by an international group that studies longevity, like the Gerontology Research Group, GRG, or Guinness World Records, GWR, or by other reliable sources. In this video, we'll talk about the top 10 oldest people on Earth. But, before you start this video, like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates in the future. Number 10. Thomas Thorvald Peter Christian Ferdinand Mortensen. Christian Mortensen was a Dane who was born on August 16, 1882, and died on April 25, 1998. He lived in California, United States. When he died, he was 115 years and 252 days old. Until Jiroman Kimura died in 2012, he was the man who had lived the longest. On December 26, 1882, Mortensen was baptized at Fruering Church. In addition to his baptismal record, there are also records of the 1890 and 1901 Danish censuses and his church confirmation in 1896. Number 9. Jiroman Kimura. Kimura Jiroman was a Japanese man who lived for 116 years and 54 days. He was born on April 19, 1897, and died on June 12, 2013. On December 28, 2012, he passed Christian Mortensen's age, who had died in 1998. This made him the oldest known man in history. He was the last known person born in the 19th century, and he may have been the last person who had served in World War I. When Tomoji Tanabe died on June 19, 2009, Kimura became the oldest living man in Japan. When Walter Brenning died on April 15, 2011, he became the oldest living man in the world. When Shiono Hasegawa died on December 2, 2011, he became the oldest living person in Japan. When Dina Manfredini died on December 17, 2012, he became the oldest living person in the world until he died almost half a year later. Number 8. Emma Martina Luigi of Morano OMRI. Was an Italian man who lived from November 29, 1899, to April 15, 2017. She was the oldest person still alive in the world from May 13, 2016, until April 15, 2017, when she died at the age of 117 years and 137 days. She was also the last known person who was born in the 1800s and was still alive. She is the oldest person ever born in Italy and the third oldest person ever born in Europe, after Jean Calment, 1875 to 1997, and Lucille Randon, born in 1904. Morano died on April 15, 2017, at her home in Verbania, Italy. She was 117 years old. When she died, she was the fourth oldest person ever known to have lived. When Morano died, Violet Brown became the oldest person still alive in the world. Number 7. Violet Brown. Born March 10, 1900 to September 15, 2017, was a Jamaican supercentenarian who was the oldest verified living person in the world for 5 months after Emma Morano died on April 15, 2017. She died at the age of 117 years, 189 days on September 15, 2017. She was one of the last two people still alive who were born in the 1800s. The other was Nabi Taijima of Japan. Brown died at a hospital in Montego Bay, St. James Parish, on September 15, 2017. He was 117 years old. A week earlier, he had been diagnosed with dehydration and an irregular heartbeat. Nabi Taijima was the oldest person still alive when she died. She was also the last person still alive who was born in the 1800s. Number 6. Marie-Louise Fébroni Myler. She was born on August 29, 1880, and died on April 16, 1998. She was from Canada. Myler is the oldest Canadian who has ever been verified, and after Jean Calment died, he became the oldest known living person in the world. Marie-Louise Myler died on April 16, 1998, in Corbeil of a thrombus. She was 117 years old. One of her sons lived in the same nursing home, and Gabrielle Vaughan, her oldest living daughter, was 90 years old. Vaughan died in 2004 at age 96. Myler was buried in Swisha, where she had lived before, next to her second husband. Sarah Naus, who was born in 1880 and died in 1999, was born in the United States.
Number 5. Nabi Taijima.
After Violet Brown died on September 16, 2017, Nabi Taijima became the oldest person in the world. She lived from August 4, 1900, to April 21, 2018. She was the last person who could be proven to have been born in the 1800s. The small island of Kakaijima, about halfway between Okinawa and the main Japanese islands, is where Taijima was born and where he died. Tominashi Taijima, her husband, died in 1991 at the age of 93. She had 7 sons and 2 daughters for a total of 9 children. In September 2017, it was said that she had around 160 descendants, including great-great-great-grandchildren. She said that her long life was because she slept well and ate good food. Guinness World Records was going to name Taijima the oldest person in the world, but she died in a Kakai nursing home before they could. She died when she was 117 years and 260 days old. Until Kane Tanaka passed her age on September 19, 2020, she was the oldest Japanese person ever. Number 4. Lucille Randon. French woman who was born on February 11, 1904, and is also known as Sister Andre. Since Kane Tanaka died on April 19, 2022, at the age of 118 years and 222 days, she has been the oldest verified living person in the world. She is the oldest person known to have survived the COVID-19 pandemic. She tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 a month before her 117th birthday, making her the oldest person known to have done so. Randon is a Roman Catholic nun. She became a Catholic as a young adult and worked as a governess, teacher, and missionary until she retired at 75. Since 2009, she has lived in an old-age home in Toulon, France. Number 3. Sarah Derry Murnaus. Bourne was an American who lived from September 24, 1880, to December 30, 1999. She is the oldest person from the United States, and on April 16, 1998, she became the oldest person in the world who is still alive. She is still the 3rd oldest person whose life has been well documented. She lived to be 119 years and 97 days old. The date she was born has been confirmed by many census and other records. On December 30, 1999, it was said that Naus died of natural causes. On her body, an autopsy was done, but the results were never made public. At the time of her death, however, she was not known to have been sick. Eva Morris, who lived in the United Kingdom from 1885 to 2000, was the world's oldest person until she died in 2000.
Number 2. Kane Tanaka.
Bourne was a Japanese supercentenarian who lived from January 2, 1903, to April 19, 2022. After Chiyo Miyako died on July 22, 2018, she was the oldest person still alive. She died at the age of 119 years and 107 days. She is the oldest known Japanese person and, after Jean Calment, the 2nd oldest known person ever. Tanaka had several serious illnesses, and when she was 35, she caught paratyphoid fever from her adopted daughter. She had surgery for pancreatic cancer when she was 45 years old. Tanaka was 103 years old when she was diagnosed with colorectal cancer in 2006. At that time, she had surgery to remove the cancer. For years after that, her 2nd son and his wife wrote a book called In Good Times, 107 years old, about her life and how long she had lived. KBC talked to her in September 2017 when she was 114 years old. Guinness World Records gave Tanaka the titles World's Oldest Living Person and World's Oldest Living Woman on March 9, 2019, proving that she is the oldest person still alive.
She beat Nabi Taijima's record of 117 years, 260 days on September 19, 2020.
This made her the oldest person in Japan and the 3rd oldest person in the world. On April 10, 2022, she lived longer than Sarah Naus, making her the 2nd oldest known person.
Number 1. Louise Calment.
Bourne was a French supercentenarian who lived until August 4, 1997. He was born on February 21, 1875, and died on August 4, 1997, at the age of 122 years and 164 days. The media and doctors looked into her health and lifestyle because of how long she lived. She is the only person who is known to have lived past 120 years old.
Census records show that Calment lived longer than both her daughter and grandson. In January 1988, many people said she was the oldest person still alive.
In 1995, when she was 120, she was officially named the oldest person to have ever lived. Calment died on August 4, 1997, around 10 a.m., but no one knows why. Robin told the New York Times that she was in good health even though she was almost blind and deaf a month before she died.
Did this video amaze you? Which old person inspired you the most?
Tell us in the section below for comments. If you like this video and want to hear from us again, make sure to click the subscribe button before you leave.